How did ballet survive the Russian Revolution? Hi, I'm Claudia, and I am writing a PhD dissertation on Soviet and Cuban ballet. And to answer this question, we need to start before 1917. At the end of the 19th century, ballet was associated with the Russian elite. In fact, the prima ballerina Mathilde Kishinska was the future Tsar's Nicholas II mistress before he got married. But was ballet really only for the aristocracy? I recently read Russia at Play by Louise McReynolds for my qualifying exams, and she challenges the idea that there was no middle class in Russia before the revolution. She argues that yes, there was an emerging middle class, and they used to engage in leisure activities that included theater, going to the ballet, performing in sports, going to nightclubs, and going to the movies when they started to come out at the beginning of the 20th century in order to explore some opportunities to find themselves and find refuge in public and private spaces. And then the Russian Revolution came. Suddenly, ballet faced a dilemma. It was too high class, too bourgeois, and too inappropriate for the new socialist state. Yet the Bolsheviks didn't get rid of it. In Swans of the Kremlin by Christina Esrahi, she argues that actually the Bolsheviks started to embrace ballet. They took over Kishinska's mansion as their new headquarters at the beginning of the revolution. And one of the female revolutionaries actually put one of the coats that Kishinska left behind. And she uses this imagery to kind of illustrate how the Bolsheviks actually embraced ballet. She actually argues, quote, the Soviet regime adorned itself with ballet. And that is actually what happened. Rather than abandoning ballet, the new Soviet state actually embraced it as a new symbol of Soviet culture and revolutionary achievement. They actually started to change a little bit of the repertoire to create new ballets that sponsor a revolutionary idea as well as some kind of workers' triumph. As historian Jennifer Homans argues in Apollo's Angels, ballet in the Soviet state succeeded there because of the state, not in spite of it. Of course, it wasn't a very smooth process. Actually, a few or a lot of the ballets got censored, but at least it became, through time, one of the Soviet Union's most powerful cultural symbols. And that's how an art form highly associated with the Tsar and the empire actually survived a socialist revolution. In the next video, I'm going to tell you how a similar story unfolded in Cuba. But in the meantime, what questions should I answer?